Hi everyone, this is Angelina Papazian with River of Life Coaching, and I am a spiritual life coach and a master of social work. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching sessions, message me directly. I am currently taking on new clients. I am also in the process of creating workshops, so stay tuned for more for that. If that's not really your thing, just like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content on things relating to life, spirituality, philosophy, psychology, and things that really make us human and that a lot of us experience throughout different parts of our lives. So, today we are going to be talking about suffering, particularly questions that we can ask as it relates to suffering and the natural human experience that suffering creates. So, when we think about suffering, it's important for us to keep in mind that throughout time, throughout humanity, people have always asked all sorts of different questions about suffering. There are many different perspectives that we can take about suffering. We can ask things about how do I avoid suffering, or we can ask how can suffering teach us different things. We can also ask how can I respond to suffering, or is there a way to respond to suffering in the right way? Is there a way to avoid suffering as a whole? So we're going to start with a bunch of different types of questions that we can ask. The purpose of these is not to have me tell you what suffering is or isn't, regardless of my thoughts and my perspectives on this. The purpose is not to have only one truth or one way of looking at this. The purpose of this is to really dig deep and to get clear about what are some of the things that we believe in and how there might be some nuances and how there might be multiple different truths that can exist at the same time, how there might be multiple different perspectives that we can appreciate and take into consideration at the same time relating to these types of concepts. So without further ado, we are going to get started on questions relating to the nature of suffering. So what do we think suffering is? Is suffering physical in nature? Is it emotional in nature? Is there something like existential suffering? What distinguishes suffering from general discomfort or discontentedness? Is suffering a natural part of being human? Is it inevitable? Is there a way that we can actually escape or avoid suffering? Or is it something that each of us have to experience at different parts of our life in different ways? Are there certain types of suffering that are completely avoidable? Is suffering created only in our mind? Is it created through the actions we take? Is it created through the things that we do, the things that we think? Or is it something that we can't escape from? Do we have any control on how much we suffer? Does everybody's experience in suffering happen the same way? Does it look the same way? Does it feel the same way? Or is everybody's experiences and perspectives on this unique to themselves? When it comes to meaning and purpose, things that we can ask are, can suffering have meaning, even if it's something that we don't necessarily want right now or in general? Have there been any lessons that we could learn or have learned from suffering, from experiencing different hardships? Are there any things that we're currently dealing with right now that have been causing us to suffer that might be teaching us or helping us to grow or evolve or change in better ways in the long run? Does suffering reveal who we are? Does it shape who we become? Does it help us to learn or develop deeper insights into ourselves? Does it help us to understand deeper truths about ourselves? Would our lives be different if we never experienced diversity in our life? Would we view things differently? Would we look at things differently? Would we hold different perspectives and frameworks for thinking? Can our values become clearer because of different experiences? Can we become more of the people who we want to become or who we might be meant to become as a result of suffering? Can suffering give us deeper senses of gratitude, compassion, or wisdom? Can we identify the suffering in other people when we experience suffering in ourselves? Can we identify those people who suffer better than if we hadn't experienced suffering? Can we understand and empathize with people better as a result of suffering? Who are we because of our suffering? Who do I become when everything about me is taken away? What is underneath every single thing? For example, what am I if I didn't have the house, the cars, the status, the clothing, the material objects, the relationships, the communities, the groups that I'm part of? If it's just myself, me on my own, with nothing else, what am I? And can that cause suffering? Can that actually be a great cause of suffering if we don't have everything that we have right now? Will it help us in the long run in some ways? Why or why not? What could be some pros and cons of either of those? Does suffering threaten my identity, or does it reveal my true self? Have there been any parts of my identity that have remained the same throughout difficult seasons in my life? Have I ever mistaken my suffering for my identity? Have I ever created my identity around my suffering and my hardships and the challenges I've experienced in life? How can I acknowledge my pain without allowing it to define me? How can I now acknowledge my pain without allowing it to consume me? When it comes to control and acceptance of suffering, letting go of control particularly, we can ask ourselves, what aspects of a certain situation or experience is within my control and which is not? Are there any things that I'm resisting that cannot be changed? Is a lot of my suffering coming directly from reality itself, or is it coming from my resistance to what I am experiencing in this reality? What would acceptance look like in this situation? Would acceptance actually be a good thing for me, or would it be harmful in any way? Are there any pros and cons to accepting what's currently happening when it comes to suffering less, if that is something that I want? Is acceptance compatible with working towards change? Can we work towards change while accepting what is currently? What does it mean to respond wisely than to simply react? Does responding in a certain way lessen suffering, or does it increase suffering? Why or why not? Have there been any experiences that have made me wiser and have carried me through hardships as a result of past suffering that I've had? Have I ever been surprised by my ability to handle certain things that I've suffered through? The way I've responded, the way I have shown up in different areas of my life. Have there been any practices that I've had that have helped me to remain grounded when there was uncertainty or when there was any kind of suffering in my life? Has suffering expanded my capacity to endure hardships? Has it made me stronger? Has it made things easier for me? Has it made things seem to be less severe because I'm more experienced in it? Have there been any qualities that I've cultivated through those experiences? Has suffering changed the way I relate to other people and how I show up in my relationships? Has any of my pains or suffering made me more compassionate or more guarded? Has it harmed my relationships in any way? Has it made me more discerning over who I allow in my life and who I don't allow in my life? Have there been people in particular who have walked through difficult seasons of my life and have walked with me during periods of intense suffering? Have there been any supports that I've been able to delve into and to reach out to when I was experiencing suffering? How can I be currently present for somebody who I know is suffering in a certain area of my life without trying to fix or control it? Do I need to fix or control it? Are there pros and cons to either of those decisions? Which one is better in this situation and why? Is it my responsibility to help another person who is suffering? Why or why not? What could be some good things that come out of that, and what could be some bad things that come out of that? What are my actual motives behind wanting to help somebody who's suffering? Is there something that I'm looking to get out of that? Is it something that I genuinely want to do? Why or why not? What do I really think that this will bring, whether it's for me or for another person? Is one decision better than the other? Why or why not? Is one perspective better than the other? Why or why not? Are there any expectations that I currently have about suffering? Are there any things that I'm currently grieving right now about reality? Is there anything that I am experiencing loss in, and is that causing suffering? Are there any things that are happening right now that I may not be able to control of, that I'm feeling pain over and experiencing some form of suffering over? Am I attached to certainty in life, and does that cause suffering if I am attached to it? Why or why not? Are there any expectations that I need to release, and if I release those expectations, will it alleviate my suffering? How do I respond to things in life when they don't go the way that I planned for them? Are there any things that I am developing or any virtues that I'm cultivating right now as a result of experiencing a hardship or suffering? Are there any beliefs about myself that are being tested right now, and can those tests be helpful for me in the long run? Am I genuinely being tested, or is there a different way of looking at this? What assumptions about my life has been changed as a result of suffering in a certain way? How have these experiences shaped my priorities and what I develop? How can they shape what I spend my time in? How can they shape and change what I choose to pour my energy and time and thoughts into? Can suffering actually help me in the long run? Is it actually a good thing in the long run? Is it always a bad thing? Is it always a good thing in the grand scheme of things? Is it a mix of the two? Is there any hope that I can cultivate during a period of intense suffering? Any hope I can draw from? If there is, what allows that hope to survive? What's within my control? What can I cultivate? Is it possible for hope to exist without certainty? What right now is giving me reasons to move forward? What are some things I've experienced in the past that have helped me to move forward during periods of intense suffering and pain? What is the difference between suffering and pain? Are there any small signs of good right now or during periods of struggle that I can focus on? Is it helpful for me to focus on them, and why? Is there a way that I can nurture hope without denying reality? Can both exist at the same time, or does it have to be one or the other? How has my awareness of my mortality influenced the way I live? Is this something that I have honestly given thought into? Is this something that I can explore? Who are some people I can reach out to as I explore this or as I navigate this? What are some resources that I can draw from to help me navigate this, or do I have to do this alone? Is there anything that I hope to leave behind? Is there any kind of inspiration or wisdom I hope to leave behind? Does suffering change the way I view what truly matters in my life and what's actually important to me, and why? Is there anything that I would regret doing if I had to look in the future? What do I think would cause suffering if I didn't do that today, or didn't do that at some point in my life? For example, is there anything when I'm on my deathbed I wish I would do? Can I think of anything that I would genuinely regret at the end stages of my life if I didn't act on them today? So those are a lot of questions to ponder on, and there's probably dozens, if not hundreds or thousands more that we can ask. But really think about where you are in your life right now and what's causing you suffering. Really think about what your viewpoints on suffering are. What can you actually do, and what is not within your control? Do you need to navigate suffering in some way right now, whether it's with a professional or with a group or a community that you're part of, a support system? Do you need to actually ask these kinds of questions? Would they be helpful for you? If you start to ask these questions, you might find that certain belief systems and certain identities and certain ways of thinking and doing things might really unravel and might start to dismantle in and of themselves. And so it's important for us to really have some supports in place as we ask these types of questions. We might need a support system. We might need to get really clear about what we think might happen if we start to ask these questions. What might need to be unraveled? what might need to be looked at and examined more thoroughly, what changes might need to be made, what are some things that we might need to just experience and live through, what are some feelings that might come up, what are some emotions that might come up, and how can we navigate that. Maybe we'll need to discuss this with somebody who is very well versed on existentialism, existential crisis, loss of faith, crisis of faith. We might need to really experience these types of questions with a professional who is more well versed in this and is more experienced on navigating these challenges. If you find that you're in a place right now where you're asking these questions and you think that that would be helpful in your life, I would encourage you to do so, but do so wisely. Do so with the support system in place. Consider if there's anybody in your life who you can actually talk about these things with and see what they think about it. Is there anyone in your life who you can reach out to right now to talk about any of these things, or who you think would be a good support system for you as you navigate these things? There's way more that we can delve into with this that go far beyond what I can put on a YouTube video. If you found this topic to be helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. If you are interested in one-on-one coaching sessions and this is something that you want to delve into, message me directly. And if that's not your thing, stay tuned for more videos on topics relating to life, philosophy, spirituality, and things that make us human. Have a good week.